We did
Hello,
it!
everybody. We finally got here.
We made it.
Your patience is appreciated.
Better to be late than never.
That we arrive exactly when a Jedi expects they should arrive.
Yeah, we're exactly where we were supposed to be at this time, everybody.
Yeah, that's us. This is where we should be. Ian's haircut lasted like I did get a haircut. Is it obvious that I got a hair trim? I got a haircut? It actually takes longer to do my beard than it does my hair.
Welcome to Facial Hair Talk. Yeah, we're definitely wizards.
I would like one Riker, please. And that's what I ask for my beard.
Hello, random Mochi. You thought he looked different? Does he look different?
Yeah, I went in and I got a refit, and now I've come out looking all sovereign classy. Hate it when that happens.
Hey, it's David from Lorehounds.
Hey, David. we is that the Lorehounds theme tune? I don't think it is.
It doesn't need to be. Is it music that popped into my head? Is that not good enough?
Like it. Amazing. We had a very insightful discussion, myself and David, about lots of Trekkie things. More on that later.
Without us?
Yeah, without you. You were not there, Danae.
Yeah.
You would have enjoyed it. You'd have got the
Oh,
popcorn.
did Maggie Smith pass?
She died.
Oh,
she did. She passed away.
I love her.
I know. She was up there
so
with like
fucking cool.
For me, she's like
a show.
Yeah. Her and like Judi Dench, I just put in a bucket of people that aren't gonna die ever.
Yeah.
And like Ian McKellen, they're all just gonna keep living.
Magically forever. She was born in 1934.
That's insane.
And she passed today.
Yeah.
Wow.
9 years old.
My gosh. All the things that she's been in. What's one of the first things you remember her from?
Oh, it's Harry Potter. Definitely. As McGonagall.
Sister Act for me.
Because I was like, right. Oh no, it would have been Sister Act then. Yeah.
I loved her in Sister Act. She was so cute. I would have watched
that way before Harry Potter. Yeah. Man, my mum loves Sister Act.
She was in Hook. Another one that was from my youth that I probably would have seen.
Who does she play in Hook?
I don't know. Let me find out.
Is she...
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out. I think she might be the maid or something. She
might make sense.
One of the households.
God, she's in so much. I mean, so much.
Yeah. Oh, she's had an insane career.
The first thing that she's listed in is...
Oh, she's Wendy.
BBC.
She plays older Wendy. She's older
Wendy, or is she she's the mum?
No, she's older Wendy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She's older. Yeah. Like in the future.
Yeah, when Robin comes back. Yeah.
Okay, 1955. There was an episode of BBC Sunday Night Theater that she was in. 1955.
Wow, way back in the day.
And then on stage. So, and then we're just kicking off with all kinds of things.
Yeah. She was in the original Death on the Nile. Correct. She was indeed.
Yep. I'm looking through.
Shut up, Nick. She could have been the maid. It's been so long since I've seen Hook. So long. She always plays a maid.
Oh man, it's gonna say a lot about what I have watched. That Hook and Sister Act would have been my first kind of time to see her.
Yeah,
but I remember her from Sister Act because she was just so, like a quirky nun. And then Harry Potter for sure. Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. I remember that one. I didn't watch it, but I remember
that one's news to me. So
many. Nanny McPhee returns. Romeo and Juliet. Must have been a voice on that one.
Let's not start picking those movies out. Let's give her some dignity.
Of course, Downton Abbey. Of course.
Yes, of course.
Like
I said, always a maid. I don't know if she was a maid in Downton Abbey. I haven't seen Downton Abbey.
I always like to go back to and look at photos from a long time ago. And obviously we could watch all the films and the materials and things like that. But just the still images of what she would have looked like, in the 50s, or what she did look like in the 50s. It's incredible.
I love doing that with Helen Mirren. Because Helen Mirren is always been an older figure to me. So to see her young in Fighting for My Life, I think is one of the movies she did, and it's just so interesting to see her as a young person acting. It's really cool.
Let's see here. I'm gonna try to share this so you can see the photo that I'm looking at. If that's okay with you guys, and then we'll go on from the Maggie Smith portion of our show.
This is the Maggie Smith podcast.
Let's see. Share the screen. Look at her beautiful face.
Oh, she's so 60s. I love it. Look at that.
Oh, come on, advertisement.
Yeah, love an
Quit
advert.
it. Quit.
Yes,
Quit.
Aubrey Plaza is also beautiful.
Quit it. Gosh.
Quit it. IMDb is the worst for its full banner ads.
They gotta make their coin.
Yeah, whatever.
Do you pay for that service? Don't get mad about that.
No.
Look at her. Isn't she beautiful?
She's so pretty. I love that 60s hair.
And some of it's just so obviously like, oh, that's definitely her. And there she is. The McGonagall we know.
I love that.
Wasn't that her name?
Mr. Potter.
McGonagall?
Yeah, McGonagall. Yeah.
Lovely.
It's amazing.
Sad times. It's like it reminds us of our mortality.
Yep.
We all gonna die someday.
Gonna happen. Something's gonna get us all. 89. It's a good age. It's a solid age.
I got into a quote unquote fight with my aunt because she thought Maggie Smith was the concierge lady in Home Alone 2.
I know who you mean. I know exactly who you mean. Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah, your turn. Your turn.
If you can't picture her.
I can't.
That's amazing. I see it as well. Let's save that image. Are you going to let me save that image? There we go. Let's have that in there. Let's try and bring that up. That's amazing.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm getting it now.
Are you cackling, Sarah?
That's so funny. It really is. Okay,
Ian should go for the 60s hair next. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I mean, I can kind of see it.
I kind of see it.
I can kind of see it.
I love that got you into a full-on argument. I was like,
okay,
it's
what
her,
is that person's
damn it.
name?
That person's name is Hester Stone. But that might be the character's name.
Okay. Yeah. Hester Stone. Let's just take a look. Played by Dana Ivey.
Dana Ivey. There we go.
Yes.
Could be related. Separated at birth. Mate, that's so
there
funny.
Are some similar features.
Yeah, I get it.
Dana also, she's 83 years old. So they're
similar age as well.
Similar age. They've got the big, intense eyes.
Yeah, it's the big eyes. It's the stern, thin lips.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
I can see it.
It's amazing.
I mean, at least it kind of looked similar. If it was if the reference was completely different, it would have been a little bit more confusing and concerning. Nope. You recognize her from that's right, Addams Family. She was its love interest by the end, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tim Curry. I love Tim Curry so much.
Tim Curry's incredible. He's so funny.
What's one of the first things you remember Tim Curry from?
Oh, Home Alone 2. 100%. Home Alone 2. Like his big smile, where it does like the overlay of his big smile onto the Grinch, is incredible. It's so funny.
Let me... this is like, what are we doing right now?
We're doing the Recotopia podcast today.
I guess. Yeah. We're filling in. There was a show well, first of all, my first two Tim Curry exposures were like kooky, but one of them was very much a Harry Potter one, and I can never remember the name of it. It was such a kooky little thing. I'm going to try to find it and see if you've ever heard of it before. Maybe the chat already knows what it is.
What else would I have seen him in? I've only recently watched Clue for the first time last year and Rocky Horror for the first time 3 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I am very new to Rocky Horror, but I have now seen it 4 times since we synned it.
God, he has been in so fucking much. Well, Tim Curry has like a voice too, where he can.
Yes.
He's in a lot of voiceover work. Holy
I was
shit.
surprised how much voiceover work you did.
Okay. I also, when I was watching movies with Iris, he was in Muppet Treasure Island as one of the, and I was like, oh my God.
Yes,
but
he is.
That's not one of the first ones I saw him in. Okay.
That's true.
As a chat giving.
Rocky Horror, Clue, The Light Fantastic.
No, that wasn't it.
Yeah, he randomly appears in The Hunt for Red October, which is like weirdly out of character for him.
Oh my God. There's so much that I'm going back through. I'm kind of nervous now. I'm not going to find it, but it was.
I think he plays a Russian general in Command & Conquer, doesn't he, in the video game? Somebody's pointing out Command & Conquer Red Alert 3, and I think there's a cutscene where he plays a Russian general. I think.
I have just found what would have been my first, which would have been Annie. He was one of the bad guys in Annie who kidnaps Annie.
Oh, I had to watch Annie so many times growing up, and I hated it.
Did you remember that he was in that one?
I did not remember. I've tried to erase that from my brain. Yeah.
He has such a recognizable face. Yeah. And such a recognizable like demeanor. Yeah. And yet he just blends into movies.
He can just blend into certain movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had 3 options. There was at my grandparents' house. There was The Sound of Music, The King and I, and Annie. So I've seen all 3 of those so many times. And The Sound of Music is the only one that endures for me.
Okay. Where?
Oh.
Why is this not listed?
The Wild Thornberrys. He played Nigel. Eliza. Totally forgot about that.
Okay, I found the second one, but I'm trying to find the first one. So give me just a second.
Sorry. Yep. Oh, the Wild Thornberrys. That's amazing. Eliza.
Oh, what was the name of it? The Worst Witch.
The Worst Witch, the TV show?
The Worst Witch.
Was that a movie? I thought that was a TV show, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think that was a TV show. Was he in that?
It was a TV movie. It was a TV movie.
Right.
Where, and I loved this. This one was on, so it was on TV, and I obviously happened to catch it or something, and I was just absolutely thrilled by The Worst Witch. And he has this like spooky scene. We should totally watch it sometime for fun, where he's like got this cape and he's sort of flying through, and it does like the very popular thing in the 80s, which was to sort of add the Technicolor weirdness over the top of things. He's just like, and he's flying, he's singing. And of course I love that singing. So
I've definitely seen it. I have no memory of this place. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
The Worst Witch.
Yeah,
okay. So absolutely. I saw him in The Worst Witch, but the other time, and this is weird, but he was so fucking sexy as the Lord of Darkness in Legend. Did you ever see Legend?
No, I have not
Holy
seen that.
shit. Has anyone in the chat? Has anyone in the chat seen Legend? This is, and I'm not kidding you, this is Tom Cruise when he is a baby. Did you guys see Legend? Please tell me you've seen Legend.
I remember this.
He plays the King of Darkness. Yes, Legend. He is the big fucking devil horned creature who, there's something about his presence that is just so powerful. And I was like, wow. I didn't have a crush on Tom Cruise. I was like, here.
Yeah, you did. Nice. You got Tim Curry. Let's go.
Tim Curry.
I have not seen that.
My first rock crush, my first like music crush that I ever had, I think you is Freddie can't just totally lost my
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Freddie
Mercury?
Freddie Mercury. Freddie Prinze Jr. That would be a lot of crushes. No, but I just have a thing for like very talented, just the talent. Oh my God. I saw him on TV. I was like,
great. Yeah. Let's go. Whew. I don't think you were his type, to be honest.
No. Don't have a chance in hell. Because, it's just, but still.
He died. I have never seen Legend, and I cannot believe that Tom Cruise is in this movie. What is this?
Okay, so
this looks like the Tenacious D music video.
It's bonkers.
There's a fucking unicorn in it.
Yeah, loved it. So it is a dark fantasy by Ridley Scott.
How have I not seen this?
So let's see. I'm going to read the plot from Wikipedia. In order to cast the world into eternal night, the Lord of Darkness, which is played by Tim Curry, sends the goblin Blix to kill a unicorn in the forest near the castle and bring the horn. So that's kind of the, but then there's Lily, and then there's the character, whoever Tom Cruise is playing.
That's incredible.
Jack,
do you
maybe?
remember? Do you remember this character?
Super intense. No.
Do you remember? Okay, well, he's in the movie. Meg Micklesworth or something, Meg something, and he is played by Robert Picardo, who is our holographic doctor from Voyager.
I love how you're trying to take this back.
I mean, to be fair, David did try to help bring it back to Star Trek by saying The Sound of Music, directed by Robert Wise, who also directed Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Okay, I'm going to show you the picture of the devil, and then we can move on. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Antichrist, Beelzebub, we know your weakness.
Okay, check this out. Look at him.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, that is 100%
Look
the demon.
At this crazy
from Tenacious D
thing.
Yeah.
Like, this picture right here.
That's wild. Look at that. Just missing the horns.
Before the horns were like put on.
Well, that's because his next movie he was doing was Hellboy.
And look at this. Look at this Tom Cruise. Look at this baby.
I love that. That's the hair that I'm going for, actually.
So you can see why, like...
That's amazing.
It's incredible. There's this one moment when he kind of like gets really angry and starts like just stomping towards the camera. And it was so scary whenever I saw it because he just embodied this this dark character. Anyway,
no prosthetic needed. That's amazing.
Look at that. Incredible prosthetics.
Yeah. What a beast.
Anyway, that was my I don't know how did we get to Tim? How did we get to Tim?
Maggie Smith into where she was into Home Alone, into Tim Curry, into Clue, into Legend.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yes, sci-fi. I guess I have a couple of them in my history. Freddie Mercury, for sure. Tim Curry.
Just that stage presence. He's just like
powerful men.
Powerful men.
And they're so good at singing. And when they're just like,
yes,
it just takes you over. Yeah.
He has a voice.
Yes. Well, I guess we should talk about the show. Just a reminder, this is an R-rated show. We are going to be talking about Star Trek, Lower Decks, No Small Parts.
Oh. I'm going for a phase, but I was on the wrong.
We are recording part of our show live with you. And during the recording, we try not to talk directly to chat like we have been. So we will miss you, but we will see you on the other side. We do pin your comments and try to pop them up during the show because you guys have great things to say. Oftentimes, though, you say things after we've already moved on because there is about a 20-second delay. That is not so that we can find problems to fix. That is just because of the internet. We are going live on multiple platforms. Don't forget to update the banner for us today.
Oh, am I doing that?
Yeah, today. Can you do that? Because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I can do that.
Don't tell the chat we're not ready for that.
Fuck.
We're live on YouTube on the CinemaSins Podcast Network. And I'm often reminded to make sure that you have selected all chat instead of top chat, live chat.
Live chat.
But choose the one that is not the top chat.
Choose the one that works for you.
Then the algorithm tells you what you're looking at rather than it being your own experience. And then if you're watching on Twitch, there's two places that you can watch. The larger audience is on the CinemaSins live channel. Thank you guys for joining us. And then I also go ahead and throw this up on my personal channel where I sometimes, once upon a time, was releasing content on a regular basis, doing some really fun stuff. But one day, maybe I can go back to that. But just pour some out for
maybe someday.
Free time. It's gone now. No, don't pour it out.
Don't actually do that.
This is a computer. I don't want to do that.
To slab the junior.
Oh, happy birthday! Oh, yay! Woo! You're born. You're doing the stop!
Enough of that.
We want to say thank you not only to the people who can join us live, but for those who decide to watch this later, both on Twitch and on YouTube. We see you. We appreciate you.
We salute you.
There's the podcast that you can listen to, all edited down and fancy, including things that you haven't heard yet, because it's the beginning and the end of the show. So maybe you go watch or listen to the podcast to hear what you don't hear by watching it on YouTube. But thank you for watching us later. We appreciate it. We have such an interesting and unique experience, don't we?
We do. Also, there is a strong possibility I will have to pause to immediately address something work-related. So bear with us while Danae vamps and I just hold all recording and reply to a message.
Wow.
There's a chance that will happen. Yeah.
Wow. Well, when that happens today, we will be reading Lord of the Rings.
Heck yeah.
So just to keep that in mind. Before we get started, I have to...
Okay. Which means it's my turn to read Lord of the Rings. Okay, we got to last time. I think I did the first chapter. I think we skipped the prologue. Did we start with the prologues? Hang on, let's have a look. See if I can remember. No, there's the forward. And books have a forward and a prologue. Yeah, I suppose I could answer something relevant. Yes, we have decided that the best thing to do is to take a few weeks break, partly because I have a dicer coming to visit, so it kind of makes sense to give him some more attention, and it just would have felt a bit weird doing 3 episodes of randomness before going back into Lower Decks. So yes, I think we've... Danae's trying to talk in the backstage. I'm just going to bring her in. I was hoping to get you saying something incriminating. Was that the, like,
why isn't it working?
Is that the Jurassic Park theme?
No. I was just making noises. You forget that is my superpower.
Repertoire. Okay,
my superpower, my special my magical thing. Yeah,
we have to record a show. We've got to do a thing.
Yeah, we really do.
Let's do it.
Okay. I love how like you have absorbed some of Babs into your actual life, and
really
I don't know that people know where it comes from. They just think that you make this noise.
Yeah.
Babs is someone. Oh, rest in peace, Babs. Oh, I hope I get to bring her back someday. Go on.
Amazing. Okay, let's do the thing. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. Most important question first: what would you like from the replicator? As you fumble that straw into your face.
What was in the bottle that was rolling down the hallway? Was that
Chateau
just like
Picard, I imagine. If I had to guess, it's Chateau Picard. Yeah, you'll have some
both
of that.
A delicious beverage and a weapon of choice.
I will be taking the Spock helmet, which is when Mariner is pulling out all of the weapons from the bulkhead. There's a white helmet with a red siren on top that we've talked about before. I will be taking one of those because it is the best merchandise tie-in that has ever existed. And I think you Googled it for me a couple of years ago and it was like $100. I was like, not going to do that.
I don't recall.
Mm-hmm. Overall, thoughts and feelings on the episode. Ambassador,
this one was fucking awesome.
Isn't it the best? It's so good. I love this episode so much. It's so fun. It's so well paced.
Yeah, this has everything that you want a show to have. It has all of the things.
Give us a synopsis. I did it backwards.
Oh, well, to be fair, you really were. You said this was one of your favorite episodes, but you also said that you didn't care if I didn't like it.
It's very true. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get that question out of the way as quickly as possible. Out of the way. Yeah, it's not important.
Yeah, a lot happens in this episode, but I feel like the most important thing is, let's take a look here. Tribbles can be used for personal use. This piece of information changes everything. I just want to, that's got to be.
What are you going to do with that information?
Yeah.
No, what are you going to do with it? I need to know specifics.
It's personal. Just like it's personal for her. She even said that's personal.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, this week there are arguments between Boimler and Mariner as Boimler
that's nothing new.
Oh, come on. As Boimler exposes that she is the daughter of the captain, hilariously. And right when that fight gets annoying, a big space battle happens, which is a lot of fun because the Packlids have they've done what Packlids do and stolen a bunch of ships so that they can make their own ships that are really fun. And they're after some new enterprises, and they have to all work together to save the day until the Titan comes along and actually saves the day. So before we get into what we actually loved about the episode, because I think we both had a really good time with it, your prediction this week was that they are going to work together as a team leading back to No Small Parts. And also you predicted that somebody was going to die this week.
I did. And I was very surprised. No,
did.
But I'm confused because I have seen future episodes. So
yes. So I
both, if I hadn't seen future episodes, I would be really freaking out right now. Like, oh my God, that happened. But now I'm like just confused.
Yeah.
I'm missing information between now and then. So.
Well, this is one of those occasions where I remember us talking about Shax and he's coming back because we mentioned it. I can't remember what episode we covered it in, but we did mention that the way they do it in Lower Decks is that they just bring him back one episode and they don't explain how. And it's supposed to mirror how like the Lower Deckers weren't involved in that mission, so they don't know how Shax comes back. Much like a lot of people on the Enterprise may not know how Spock comes back to life. It's just, oh, Spock's back now. I thought he died. Okay, fair enough.
So they just bring him back, and they have the A-team having like gone on some mission to rescue him.
Yep.
Having thought that he died.
Yep. No explanation.
And there's no explanation at all.
Never explained how he comes back. It's brilliant. It's so good.
Is it? I don't know.
Love that. It's like, I think obviously it happens in season 2 because he's in season 2.
Oh, so, okay. Well, I couldn't remember. Yeah. Okay.
No, I think that's the only season now that you haven't seen. It's so fun. I love that.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I was shocked when he died. I'm very, very surprised. Very like mixed emotions, mixed feelings, but like what a send off. And then my other prediction,
send off. I love it.
My other prediction being like, I thought there was going to be a speech though, like something specific, like every person matters. And that didn't happen. So I don't feel like I got the first one, but obviously, my death prediction, I almost didn't say it because it felt like because I know everybody's in future episodes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, but maybe there's going to be like a side person. And honestly, a lot of people died. I said 2. There was a lot.
Oh,
there was a lot of people died.
Ship of people died. All of them. Did. All of the, not the Saskia, not the Sasquatch, the Solvang. I couldn't remember the name of that ship.
The USS Sasquatch.
The USS Sasquatch. The USS Saskia.
Let this be a lesson to everyone to just peel the stickers and enjoy it.
Yeah, just as soon as you get your cell phone, like it's never going to stay perfect. Just let a Packlid destroy it. Right, let's go through some of the stuff you love. Starting with, did you like how Boimler immediately exposes Mariner's parentage? How did that play out for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't stay on that drama piece for too long.
Completely agree.
Solving it in the first few minutes is a huge relief because you just hope that a show doesn't hang its hat on something a little bit too long and it just becomes a trope. Yeah. And in this case, they immediately out it to everyone. And then in this episode, they immediately resolve, by the end of the episode, they seem to have resolved a lot of like who Mariner is going to be now, and that she clearly stands up and can lead and can save lives and can make decisions. Like there's so much that happens in this episode.
Oh, it's especially the back half, so much in terms of like the resolution and evolution of Mariner.
It's a really packed episode, and to to do like the chef's kiss thing is to me something you save for like really, really good things. I just think about this season as a whole, and I feel like it hit a stride and it didn't stop.
Yeah.
And to end on something as epic as this was an epic episode of Star Trek for so many reasons. And I think it just does such a great job in that chef's kiss way of going, man, they really had something for everybody, whether you are a new watcher or you're like wherever you come into Star Trek, this had something really fun. And one thing that I don't think we can ever discount is how much fun a battle is to watch. And this is like just juicy battles with great music and and fighting in the hallways. There was so much that was happening that was like, fuck yeah.
And it's kind of like letting them be good as well, letting them be good at their jobs. Like there's no like tripping over or stumbling, like they're kicking butts. Like it's no funny business now. It's doing the job properly. It's so fun, but I don't think these moments hit as hard if you don't have them fucking stuff up along the way as well. So when they all pull together, and we get like, this is the most TNG episode that we have. For that, I didn't actually mean it in a Riker sense, but it genuinely is the most TNG adventure that we have. And it's so fun to see a Star Trek episode hitting on all cylinders, because at this time we have Discovery, which is very, very different. We don't have Picard yet. No, we do. We've had season 1 of Picard, I think. We haven't had Strange New Worlds yet. So this was just like pure joy for me, because I'm like, oh, it's like a real episode, a quote unquote real episode of old school Star Trek. It's so fun. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I think the greatest sin of this episode is me fangirling so hard when Riker shows up that I don't actually know what they said.
You like have no 30, idea.
I do not know what Riker said or what Deanna was saying, because I was
Mariner said
squealing. What Mariner said, because I was squealing.
You were so happy.
This is the part of me where, like, if somebody ever asks if I'm a Trekkie, I think I have to say yes because of how I reacted to seeing Riker.
You squealed.
I was so happy. I was so happy, and I love how they animated him as well, because he kind of had this, like, you can do so much with animation. But he had this like kind of like little, like, he was just so cockily moving around and all this
as
stuff.
You'd expect Riker to be when he's finally in command. Like he's always like, you feel like he's toning himself down a little bit in front of Picard, because like Picard is his mentor and he wants to be quite Picard. So when he gets his own ship, his own charisma comes out. He's so fun.
And this really perfect curiosity of like, all I can remember about the interior of the ship is that it seemed very mahogany.
Yes.
You know? Like he went lounge, and then there was jazz. The fuck was that about? I'm missing it because he plays, but
he plays the trombone. He loves jazz. It's his favorite type of music.
Is that how he actually tells people to warp every time, or is that
I hope so.
God, I hope not.
It's not in the books, but it made me laugh so much. Give me warp in a factor of 5, 6, 7, 8. I love it so much. And you can see Deanna just going, oh, I'm so sick of this. I'm so done. His representation is so good in this episode. Your reaction is exactly how I reacted when I first
really?
watched. Yeah, 100%. Because I was like, what's going to happen here? And the last bottom, and I could have had a million guesses. And I was pretty convinced that the show was going to be against direct cameos. I thought it was going to be references and nods. I didn't for a second think we were going to get a cameo, let alone the Titan, which it blew my mind. I was going to do this later, but we're just going to do it right now. The Titan appearing is fucking incredible. It's so great because we've talked about this on the show a couple of years back, but the Titan was designed by a fan. So in the mid-aughts, there was a series of Star Trek books called Star Trek Titan, and it was following Riker on his new ship. And the Titan was just mentioned at the end of Nemesis. Riker is going off to command his own ship. We know that he has a Saurian first officer. Deanna is joining him. We have no idea what the Titan looks like. So they ran a competition.
Mahogany. The answer is mahogany.
Yeah, all mahogany. So they ran a competition in the books and said, this is what the Titan will look like for the books, and you can send in your submissions. And Sean Taranjo, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Taranjo. Anyway, he designed the Titan, won the competition. It was on the front cover of the books. So when the Titan arrives, I'm like, oh, it's the same one for the books. That's amazing. They used the same design. And it's such, I can't imagine how Sean must have felt seeing that on screen and just being absolutely giddy to see. And it's such like a great nod to the fans. Like, this is a big input into Star Trek. It's, and to see it turn up, Riker firing all phasers. It's what a chef's kiss. It's what a great way to end the episode. It's so fun.
Because at the end of an episode, at the end of a season, when the Cerrito burrito is down and out, it's being grabbed by all these arms, and you're thinking, okay, is it going to get ripped apart? Probably not. I guess maybe we're going to end on some sort of cliffhanger for season 2, which is a completely understandable thing to do. Let's go ahead and just end on a cliffhanger. And really, the cliffhanger of this episode is Boimler leaving for the Titan.
Yeah,
we'll get back
that's
to that
the
later.
cliffhanger. Yeah.
But no, it's a rescue. And of course it would be a rescue. Of course.
So fun.
Why wouldn't there be
ships.
other people to, to show up and assist? And one of my sins in that moment was going to be like not sending off for help. Like we don't see that happen, and maybe they didn't, and maybe it was just the other call for help that brought the Titan. So maybe it's still a sin if I can remember to bring that up during the sin section. But
they did try to send out a distress call, but the Packard ship was blocking all communications. So I think the Titan was responding to the Stromanovs, the Solvangs, the Solvangs thing that the Cerritos was replying to as well.
Yeah. And so that was like oh, that's fun, another ship. But of course, it was lost on me that it was a Titan. It was lost on me that Riker would be there. The shock for me was when I saw Riker animated and it registers, and I'm like, is that Troy? Is
that them right next to you? Is that
and then I heard her voice, and it was perfect, and I was so happy. And so yes, this show is so adept at like humor and action and like fast-paced storytelling, and it's an animation. It's like really just breaking all of these things down. So yeah, I bet it would be surprising to all of a sudden see one of your favorite TNG characters animated and on screen. I mean, it obviously was for me, but when it actually came out, that must have been really kind of fun.
Yeah, because at the time, it suddenly hit me what year we were in, and I was like, oh, this lines up. Yeah. Riker is out there commanding the Titan, doing his thing, and I was so ready for Lower Decks just to be its own side thing, where the Enterprise and everyone is out there, but don't plan on seeing anybody. But you can do that in animation because it's so much, you don't have to explain away the aging and why everybody looks different. And it's just, this is where Riker would be. And it's so perfect to not miss that opportunity.
It makes me want an animated Titan show.
You wouldn't be the first one to call out for it. It was, that would be wanted that.
So much fun to do an animated Titan show. Because
so much fun.
We have these amazing characters that I know there's just such a rich history with it all. And while you have the actors still here, we just need their voices. That's it. Yeah, we just need their voices, and then we can animate them in youthful ways,
Yeah. What's amazing is that this was the second season 1 finale where Riker is the ex machina, because at the end of Picard season 1, Captain Riker turns up with a fleet of ships to save Picard when they're on the planet and the Borg ship and all of like the flowers and stuff. He turns up with an army of Shenghais or whatever, that's the name of the ship, not the class, to face off against the Romulans. So it's like, really? You're just going to keep rolling out Riker to save the day as the ex machina?
Right. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Why not?
Send him everywhere. Yeah.
Send him. Oh, it's so great.
So you have that's fun. That's a great crescendo to get to and a really fun fan punch for this finale. But the episode was doing great before that. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
It's so beautiful. This is a gorgeous episode with the red background, with this really creepy sort of like scrap ship that's adapting all these different pieces of other ships and their weaponry. And they're like these scavenge people. What are they called?
The Packleds.
Okay. So, these guys they're so funny. Just calling everything the Enterprise. I'm so with you. I am so with you, Packleds. That is exactly it.
Everything is an Enterprise. It's so adorable because it's like, we've got you, Enterprise. And the bit that kills me is when the second ship comes up and he's just like, oh no, another Enterprise.
Yeah. It really worked for me.
And then really guys that are like, red alarm.
Oh, okay. That's
so
funny.
they become the accidental recurring villain of Lower Decks. They do pop up again. But we had no idea the Packleds were going to show up. They are the perfect Lower Decks villain because they're just a one episode reference. Like they appear in one episode of TNG. They manage to outsmart the Enterprise by kidnapping Geordi, and they're just like, their entire thing is, we like to go. We like things that make us go. He is smart. We're going to keep him. And they just managed to like blackmail their way into stealing Geordi to repair this technology that they don't understand, that they've stolen from other people. And then you just kind of move on and you never hear from the Packleds again. They maybe get like a name drop or something. So to have them as the big bad here, when you're like, oh, is it the Borg? Is it the Romulans?
Yeah.
Who is it? Who's stealing all of this technology? Oh, it's the fucking Packleds. You got the derpiest bad guy from TNG and made them the big bad. That's amazing.
But they have managed to do some pretty terrible stuff. I mean, we saw an entire ship be destroyed in a epic way.
So pretty.
Holy shit. Okay, so let's talk about how the soul vein goes down.
Yeah.
Not only is the background just gorgeous, we've got this, big red star and blue from the nacelles is standing out beautifully, and it's just such a gorgeous animation. Really, really is. And then they grab onto it and it warps away and just rips them to shreds.
It's beautiful.
Have you ever killed a lightning bug? If you have,
oh no, you're a bad person.
You rip their little butts off while they're glowing and you smear it on your clothes.
Oh my
and
God,
it just glows until it dies. Well, like when you're a kid, you don't really know that this isn't. Another kid shows you, do you want to glow like a bug? And you're like, yeah, I do. And then they rip out the guts and they spread it on you. This was part of my youth. I only did it one summer because I realized what I was doing and it was terrifying for me from here on out.
But anyway, in the Midwest.
All I'm looking at is that smear across the screen and it's just sort of like slowly dissolving. And I'm like, oh, that is so grim.
Yeah.
Beautifully animated. It's
so clever to make it look so pretty because it's just the second they jump to warp. So for me, in my physics brain, I'm like, oh, that's all of their pieces like being aggressively jumped to light speed and then stopped. And just the blue shift smear is so pretty. It's gorgeous. Is when you just know this episode is like hitting on another level as well. Like they saved some money in the back pocket to really animate some stuff in this episode.
And they still managed to do a very interesting thing, which is to give a little bit of character and life to these people who are dead now.
Yes,
they were on screen for just a minute or less. And we know that it was a brand new ship and that no one was supposed to wear their shoes and that they hadn't even peeled the plastic, And so
they immediately get fucked up by the
and they got this captain who is trying to keep everything, clean and organized. And I can envision that being the case.
You would.
Don't want to get a new car because I know it's going to just fall to the ruins of my child and myself, making spills everywhere. And I'm not
just
ready
tater
yet.
tots and
Everywhere.
sticky fingers
Mustard.
everywhere.
Yes, just smeared. And I thought that was a really important moment for the writers and the storytellers to shine a bit, that they didn't just make a whole red shirt situation. They just march somebody in and march them out. There was some gravity to the loss of the people of the ship. And then also there's a reference to it from Captain Freeman when she's kind of joking around like, oh, I'm going to have to do this gonna go have to tell this lady, go save her, blah, blah, blah. And then you show up and it's just like, they're all dead.
Oh shit, they're all dead. And from that moment on is when it's just absolutely firing. I made a note and I was like, just slightly drifting when Boimler and Mariner are fighting really hard over this promotion, and Boimler's taking issue that Mariner's being serious and taking advantage of the nepotism, and Mariner's arguing like, you always wanted me to take this seriously. What's going on? I was just drifting, and then bam, drop out of warp into all of the shit. Everyone then has game faces on, and it's so fun when Mariner rolls up her fucking sleeves and then takes charge and comes up with a plan like, yeah, let's go.
We kind of needed this because the show up to this point in my imagination is just like tra la la la, fun, blah blah, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck,
oh no, shit.
This crew just got through a very dangerous situation that killed the previous people, and they're all making fast-paced decisions really well. And you also have the captain who is very injured. In a very telling moment, you have real Mariner coming to save her mom, just like she did in the episode where she had to save her mom from herself. So that is a true to herself characteristic where she, jumps in and the stakes are high, but she's taking the lead, and the mom is like, take the lead, do whatever you have to do to get us out of the situation. And then we get to see the fun stuff, like all of her contraband is aiding in them succeeding.
It all pays off.
That was so fun to watch them have to fight their way out of that situation and see that this isn't just a crew that's sort of fumbling their way from B mission to B mission. They had to step up to the plate in a major way to get themselves out of trouble. Now, they actually didn't get themselves out of trouble because they had to be saved by the Titan. But the momentum that this episode gives the show, it reminds you that even though these might be the burrito people, they're actually still very skilled and capable. And Shaq's sacrifice and what Rutherford has to do in this episode and his sacrifice, everyone does very unexpected things. And then there's just so many characters all just in harmony, just drumming along. I mean, you saw everybody. We have a peanut hamper all of a sudden. Badgie's back. You've got like every part of the ship we're running around and seeing. So this was a feast for the eyes in a fast-paced fashion. And if you weren't prepared for it, you would have known, because this series would have kicked you out long ago, because it's such a fast-paced series. And this is a fast-paced finale that does so much. But I think when you walk away from it, you're like, wow, they were really a capable crew. We saw some pretty cool, heroic things going on that made me like these characters instead of be really annoyed on their boring days, because this was a non-boring day.
It's the exact opposite problem that we had with the Buffer Time episode, where the joke about Buffer Time was great, but then when they're actually being invaded by the people with the diamond sticks and the ship is like going to shit, Freeman is still harping on about Buffer Time instead of dealing with the invasion. And this is the exact opposite end of that. This is, they're having arguments about whatever things are important to them, but then when they're under the gun, it's back to being serious and back to their duty. And I think that's the final buy-in that I have for this, is that I still want it. I can believe that this is how, I can believe this being a live action episode of Star Trek. Everything that happens here, I can believe happening in just like a slightly more comedy setting.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so much fun.
It just, and the whole thing sings, like your very first question is how did the feel to have, Mariner's secret out? This episode very quickly covers that up with this great adventure. And it's not the point anymore. Mm-hmm. The point is that everyone is working really, really well together. And I'm once again glad that was kind of like done and over with, but they still followed their format really, really well. But they showed us, we can, like, let's show you the whole wheelhouse of what our animation department can do, what our voice acting crew can do, what the music can do. Like when the TNG music started, I was like, hold on a second.
Hang on a minute.
Wait a minute. Why is that playing?
Wait a minute. I know these people. But the Paglid theme itself is great. The bad guy, like, they have their own theme when the Cerritos is getting carved up. That bad guy Paglid theme is so good. Like, they hit every single mark. And unlike the voice acting, Rutherford really shines for me in this one because he does one of the tropes that we all love in Star Trek, and it's the bridge shouting at the engineer the things to do, and the engineer's saying, I can do that. And it's such a Geordie thing because he will just like list off a load of technical things while running around engineering, redirecting stuff, taking command. And it's like, it's a trope, but it's one that we love. And they do it so well. It's exactly what Mariner being the captain in that moment is exactly what you want from a Star Trek adventure. It's so fun.
Yeah, I was a little bit like, just to kind of, I guess, land on Rutherford for a little bit here. I was kind of sad for about 5-10 minutes when he starts to go through his personality chip. And I thought, oh my God, the Rutherford that I love isn't real.
It's just because part of the personality.
It's a programming thing. So
no, it's
who
not.
He really isn't that guy. And I got kind of sad, but then by the end, when there's nothing in there, it's like, it's really him and he has that same vibe. And so I was relieved because I genuinely thought that there was going to be like a moment of that he's not really who I think that he is.
That's interesting. Well, man, and then that goes to some interesting places when Rutherford gets his memory back and starts finding other memories, which I think is in season 3. Is that when we have like the evil Rutherford?
Yeah,
you've seen those episodes, haven't you?
Something happens, I think, like a short circuit situation or something like this, maybe. I can't remember exactly, but I do remember that he starts to have some memories as to who implanted the chip and kind of more of what he's.
Yeah, there's the evil Starfleet admiral that has put virus in. Yeah. But that's a really, really good point. That like was that worry that Rutherford wasn't your Rutherford.
I was
just a
really,
filter.
because there was overly optimistic, which was sort of similar.
Yeah, that's like him anyway. Yeah,
exactly. And so, I didn't know, and I was kind of watching the screen when he'd be scrolling through the different options for hints about whether that was an intentional part of what they were doing. Is this really dark part of storytelling that happens whenever you're writing deep things, which is that the characters you love aren't always the characters you think they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have an opportunity with Rutherford because he is so beloved. But when the implant came out and was pointed out in chat, I think he should have died too. Absolutely. That was a lot.
Big sin. Yeah, big sin.
And Tendi, you think that maybe it's going to go towards like the sadness, but then her enthusiasm, like, we get to be best friends again,
it's so adorable.
And then they spend the rest of it like retelling and reintroducing. And so just to kind of move on from that and not make that a central thing any longer was also like really, interesting. But to have Rutherford have to be the one, or to have Rutherford be the one to deliver the virus using Badgie, it happens so fast.
Yeah.
Like you kind of don't realize. I mean, yes, when you're in space, you're going to be making fast-paced decisions and you're not going to be thinking about it all too much. But holy shit, that was like.
That's a bad choice, Rutherford.
Yeah. I guess I should ask you this because it's kind of leading into the whole Rutherford making this choice. It happens because of Peanut Hamper. So as somebody, I haven't seen the Peanut Hamper episodes in the future. So
yes,
I kind of know what's going to be happening then. But we referenced this episode when we watched the Peanut Hamper episode.
Yes.
And you talked about how it was like an echo of another episode where Data, and then we watched it.
Yes.
Where, oh my God, I'm remembering. Data kind of goes to bat for the exocomps as a sentient creature, a being that has a choice to make.
Yes, exactly.
And so, and I can't remember what the sequence is or why that's important.
So Picard and Geordi are stuck on a space station, essentially on a mining station. And the only way to get them out is to send the exocomps over to fix the problem. And Data's just like, I'm not going to send them over because I think they have a right to live as much as Picard and Geordi have a right to live. However, and he just like locks out the Enterprise computer and he's like, it's not, and Riker loses his shit with him. And Data's just like, I can't do it. And then Riker's like, well, what if we ask them if they're willing to do it? And then the exocomps are like, yeah, we'll do it. And all three of them beam over and one of them deliberately stays behind to beam the other two back and sacrifices themselves.
And is that the first exocomp episode?
That's the first and only exocomp episode. Yeah.
Okay. That's right. Okay. So I think the setup for this episode is that we assume that this exocomp is going to make the same sacrifice, but the animated series decides to say, nah, and give this exocomp like a super sassy personality and just beam the fuck out.
You got to deal with the other half of that problem. If they are individuals and they have personalities, they aren't all going to be altruistic. Like, that's the TNG viewpoint. This is the Lower Decks Deep Space Nine viewpoint, where I feel like I'm just like, oh no, I just joined Starfleet to piss off my dad. That was all.
And everyone is like, no, it's the choice for the greater good. Like, and so Peanut Hamper pieces out. And immediately it's like new decisions to be made. And so Rutherford goes to do the next best thing and make the sacrifice for everyone else. Even though the setup was that it needed to be somebody who could survive in space and do all of these things. Like they were setting it up, setting up.
Be really difficult.
Yes. And then Shax joins him. And I loved this so much.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of really fun animation as I like kind of I'm going back over the episode in my mind, but the one that stands out the most to me is Shax when he gets into that room. And so Rutherford's going to run over and put the virus in or whatever. But Shax, like, he's like, he's just like almost like a video game, just like jumping back and forth. He's just so this big, bulky guy, like so happy to just tear people to shit.
For the profits! I love how he just manhandles the shuttle and just pushes it. It's an entire vehicle, and he just pushes it out of the ship. It's like, not today, baby bear.
Yes. That when he calls him Baby Bear, is that what he called him? It was Baby something. Was it Baby Bear?
It's Bear because they're part of like the Bear Pack. Like when he's changing divisions and he joins security for a little bit.
He called him Baby Bear. Yeah. I wrote it down because I couldn't remember where that came from, and I couldn't remember the animal. But I really love that part when he pushes him out and he just stays behind and we assumed to be blown up. And right whenever the cat doctor was going to get her coital hooks in there too.
Oh, it's so perfect, isn't it? Like Shax has been slept on the entire season. Like it's so amazing how this show manages to read how fans were going to react to different characters. Because throughout the season, we're like, we want more Shax. But you can't respond to that because you've already made season 1. And yet they give us a outstanding Shax moment that like you couldn't have predicted, or I guess they did predict that we would want that. And it's great because it's such like a Bajoran thing as well. They're all martyrs because they've been oppressed by the Cardassians for so long. Every mission is a chance to die. Like every single mission is,
Oh,
I will
interesting.
die for my people because we're gonna have to blow up the Cardassians and we don't have the technology to fight them. So everything is, we're gonna go down in a ball of smoke for the chance at freedom. So when he's like, this is the greatest day of my life, this is everything that he has lived his life to do. Like he's ready to die for his people all of the time.
That's
And
so
it's
fun.
so perfect. It's so fun.
His exuberance coming through in the animation and in the way that it's written and in the vocal performance. It just
perfect vocal performance.
It hits
it's so good.
so well. And so, yeah. But without that brief moment of Rutherford joining his crew, I wonder if that would have felt the same. But I don't know. Him saying Baby Bear was so incredible.
It's so cute.
Anyway.
It's so adorable. And it's just, it all happens so quick. There's no time to question anything, really. He's just like, this is my plan, grabs Rutherford to the shuttle, fly the shuttle, crash into the ship, Rutherford, do your thing. And then even after the code is uploaded, he's just like, okay, rip out the eyepiece and then run back onto the ship, push you away. Like, he's just like, we have no time to talk about the plan. It's just, I'm going to do
instinct. Yeah.
All instinct.
It's what I think I enjoy is if we asked ourselves, what is a Starfleet officer? What is their instinct in crisis? And who's in charge of those moments? When Rutherford's in charge, it's putting a virus directly into his own head. When,
exactly.
Jax is doing these just attack things. And I was thinking about Worf whenever I was watching him, just this like pure warrior sort of vibe. Then you have Mariner, who at the helm is like, all hands abandon ship. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. And that was the right call to make. She actually ended up guiding everyone. And she was telling Handsome too, get the bags. It's time to go. And he's like, yep. So everyone kind of fell into that, the roles that they needed to roll into. I just had this memory though. So I want to switch gears. You laughed multiple times.
Of course.
At one point you laughed when, speaking of like, so Mariner says, get the bags, and Ransom's like, yep. And then they run with a wounded Freeman into sickbay.
Yeah.
And the doctor appears like right like this, and then says, oh, sorry, put the captain here. Why does that crack you up so much? What got you?
Ta'ana cracks me up because it's how she's fighting these cat instincts. Like, and it's because I love cats so much. So if, like, obviously Dr. Ta'ana is focused, like the ship is under attack. So if a cat is at battle stations, it's like it heckles her up. You can be doing the nicest thing at all. But if you surprise it, it's going to fucking hiss at you and claw. And it's this instinct that bursts out of her where she's like, meow! Oh, sorry. Yep, come over here. I have a job to do. It's like, you guys are good. I'm sorry I meowed at you so violently. But I wanted that to be a Packlid that comes in and gets the brunt of that meow. So it's just every character, whenever each character is written, their nature is always first. It's like, how would this character react in this situation? And it's such a great bit of writing and storytelling. Like in this moment, she violently meows at anyone that comes into her domain. It's so
That's
great.
amazing. That's fun.
It hit me. It hit me so good.
What are some of the other things that you liked? Like references or visuals on screen? One of them that comes to mind is the very, very beginning. We were kind of revisiting a TOS moment, and then there's a TOS mention, and she's like, what's TOS? And he says, the old scientists, I think, is what
scientists.
I assume those references you love.
Yeah.
But I was really enjoying the things like how they taped off a section and the tape had the deltas all across it, or like the sign on the computer that says do not obey. It was like a big sticker that just says do not obey.
Do not listen.
These kinds of animated decisions I think are really, really fun. But was there anything like else about this besides the big things we've talked about that you wanted to like bring up?
Yeah, the opening is really fun. It's obviously a reference back to a classic episode of the original series, and it's something that you could make every single episode picking up on a concluded story and then what happens next. It's why Second Contact is so fun. So the idea that Kirk manages to save these people from this computer called Landru that was forcing them to fight, had like subjugated them, and Kirk confuses the computer program into like a feedback loop, and that's how he ends up saving the day, which is why Freeman is like, don't you do this again or I'll paradox you just like Kirk did. So it's fun to go back and revisit that and see what happens next. And initially I was disappointed that we didn't have more of that, but then with like the benefit of hindsight, I'm like, but then you're just redoing the same episode. Like, unless you have something interesting to say, like the most interesting one for me is when they revisit the planet where they have that drug dependency on each other and they actually revisit and see what happens next. Like, if there's a big question next, that makes sense. But this, it was just like frustration of, I can't believe we've done this. And they've gone back to listening to the computer. Like, what was the point? But the biggest thing in that moment was Ransom saying, I love going back to the TOS era. Because whenever something in universe, it's almost like they're crossing a line. It's like if they'd said TNG or something. So I'm immediately perked up and I'm like, your explanation better be good. For whatever reason that you're saying TOS, you'd better nail it. And those old scientists did it for me. Like, as soon as he said, oh, yeah, that's what I call them, those old scientists, you know, Kirk, Spock, McCoy. I'm like, all right, I'll let you have it. That's okay. That's a good way to bring in TOS into canon, which obviously pays off later because the crossover episode is TOS, those old scientists. Yeah,
yes,
it's
that's
perfect.
Right. That's right.
Okay. In terms of other references, like the question for you is like, for that beginning 5 minutes, they're talking about Landru, the Red Hour, Kirk. Are you just like checked out? Are you like, is this going to be another one where I just don't get what's happening? Or at this point, are you like, okay, reference is fine, but I know there's going to be a payoff for it, or I know that I'm not being excluded. Like, or were you worried that, is this going to require some knowledge of an episode that I haven't seen?
Star Trek writers are very, very good at their craft. And this series will prove that every episode for me, because every single time you've had that concern or wonder, I've been fine, because you do need to give the basic information. And with my supreme intellect, I can fill in the blanks.
You can get along with it.
But they line it out for you. Like they say, beta 3, suppressed creativity, back to worshiping a computer. And then you can make assumptions about what the Red Hour purge is and him being like, I just got my Sith or Scythe or whatever. Like, we don't have a Red Hour anymore. So you can kind of like fill in the blanks and make some assumptions, number one. Number two, this is in the beginning of the episode. And if I go back on like historically how their episodes are sort of designed, I know that this is probably going to be a quick in and out. So I don't need to understand everything happening as much as if it was in the main part. I think it's more annoying. Because I do have some that are completely unrelated, but they're sort of like loosely tied. And in this case, it's just the cat's out of the bag, and his comm badge was open, which let's talk about that just real briefly. What a beautiful way to tell a secret.
Oh, it's so great. Just overhearing a telephone conversation.
Because we've talked about it before. Just how do these things work? How does this computer know when to project what you're saying on the speaker system? When does it not? Because sometimes you hit the button and sometimes you have a little flappy open thing, and sometimes people hear, and sometimes you say out, and sometimes you just start talking and it works anyway. And it's very loosey-goosey when we go to Senate, it seems. So this gives you the moment when it's just not working well, where you don't have the badge where it needs to be. And the consequence of that is that you're broadcasting and you just don't know it.
You are.
And how many times have we heard people shit when you weren't supposed to? Now, my question is, like, do you take it off when you go to the bathroom? Or is it just at any moment in time you could hear whatever personal things might be happening?
Because the implication here is that you can accidentally leave it as an open channel, because that's the thing that you can do. Like, okay, leave the comm channel open so that we have this situation, this two-way thing coming back. and we can always hear you. We always know what's going on. But the fact that it accidentally happens, I mean, unless she's like folded it up and is like pressing against the badge because she's tied her like uniform. She's taken her top off and like tied it around her waist. So I guess that like, it was Boimler's.
And it was, he
fucked it up.
He took his off and set it down, and it is just on, and they're calling to him, and then the comm channel is open, and they're listening for his response. Yeah. And there are many comments in the live chat about how this should not work. But that's the thing is like, I think that's the point is that there have been times whenever it should have worked, shouldn't have worked. It's just this magical thing. But the idea of being able to be overheard is the reason that the secrets, and I thought that was kind of clever.
I think I kind of give it a big pass in this episode because it's better than them having this conversation in a hallway and then Ransom overhears it and then spreads the word, and then like, because that just felt that feels a little bit anticlimactic, because if it's that careless, it could have happened at any point, really. This just leads to the hilarity of course, Boimler digging him a huge, huge hole. And then that's what you would do. You would immediately beam them onto the bridge and say, explain yourself, Ensign. And he just is horrified. He dies on the spot. His soul leaves his body.
And it's such a great humor beat. Oh, man, I wish I was in these conversations with the people who create these shows. To have that person say, let's just cut Boimler's scream off like real fast, you know, because I thought that was really like just a very nice, just we're moving on, you know, from this moment. And it really does move on pretty quickly after that. People are going to be treating her differently. And, but
it kind of explains why they did the secret, why you wouldn't want that. They kind of give some good reasons for it. Freeman is embarrassed that she is the most demerited officer in the fleet, and Mariner doesn't want to be treated like the daughter of a captain and an admiral. She wants to be whether she fucks up or succeeds, she wants to do it on her own, it totally makes sense. Rolling back to the Red Hour stuff, the Landry bits at the beginning, what I do like is that it isn't just a reference for the sake of referencing the original series. It leads to Freeman talking about the Prime Directive and her issues with it. So this is a great example of, so in this case, we can interfere, but we can't. Like, we can make sure the computer isn't ruling them, but we can't give them the tools to make sure it doesn't happen again. So we have to keep going back and fixing it. And it's this, like, the jump between TOS and TNG eras, where TOS, I don't think there was a Prime Directive. I mean, it was mentioned, but it was very loosey-goosey. And in TNG, there are much more episodes about, we can't do this because it violates the Prime Directive. So it did lead to a clash between like what the doctrine of Starfleet is now and what they're allowed to do. And it leads back to the conversation that it leads to a conversation that Freeman and Mariner have at the end, which is, okay, I have to follow the Prime Directive, but maybe you don't have to so much. So she can bend the rules kind of with and without permission. So again, it gives more context for what their relationship is on the ship and how it can work, and why there's a place for both types of Starfleet.
Yeah,
I love it.
Next
Star
important
Trek work, people. Deep.
Yeah, let's shift from something deep to something not so deep. Is a hand pie a real thing?
It should be.
Okay,
definitely is in England. We have all kinds of hand pies. We just call them pasties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not usually desserts, though. An apple. The McDonald's apple pie is a hand pie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard anything called a hand pie in my life until today.
No sane person calls it a hand pie. It's just a pastry. Pastries are all hand pies. I guess
what do you think?
Filling.
What do you think? Like, is there a British person working on these that would just be like, let's do hand pies?
I hope so.
Of all of the things that Billups could be carrying around in his little basket,
he has
hand pies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there was another British reference because Rutherford had a British accent and he said, "What's all this?"
Oh, blimey, what's all this then, Governor?
And I wish it would have been like, "What's on?"
What's on?
That's a really deep one.
What's on the Cerritos? Yeah, that's a deep cut. Mm-hmm. What else have we got? We've done the exocomp problem.
Did you like the Ransom's hard on her bit?
Oh, it cracked me
I
up.
enjoyed that quite a lot.
Yep. What is it that he actually says?
I am hard on her. I've always got a hard on for her, not for her.
I mean, I'm not hard right
because
now.
because I'm not hard now. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
Mhm.
I do love Marin. While we're ticking off stuff, I love the rant at the end. Marin is just like, "You motherfucker! I can't believe that you left the show. When you get back here, I'm going to feed you to an Armus," which is the thing that kills Tasha. That's the ink monster that kills Tasha.
Oh,
I'm gonna feed you to an
that's
Armus.
dark.
That's so dark. I love it.
I really think we should talk about the ending, because that's a huge thing to do. I think we should land there or go through our notes and button things up, but we really need to talk about the end of this episode.
Yes, Boimler gets his promotion aboard the USS Titan, and that's where the series ends and is obviously resolved in season 2, episode 1.
Yeah, obviously.
How did you feel about it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
So when we watched the finale of season, which season's coming up?
5.
Jesus. So then maybe it was the finale of season 4 where everyone's sort of like picking their next place to go.
Yes,
is that right?
Essentially, yeah, because Tendi has gone back to the Orions, and is leading her pirate sisters.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Spoiler alert.
We should probably have that. What if someone's listening to season 1 in order?
Okay,
I try to keep them in mind.
You're right. Okay, well, I'll backpedal. Yes, you're correct. I don't want to do any spoilers in case you're listening to all of our coverage in order, but yes, they are at a point where their careers are diverging at the end of season 4.
And one of the things I say, I think in that episode, is that I like that they're able to remind us that these are real people in their universe that move on with their careers. It's not a Simpsons situation where we're going to be watching 50 to 100 seasons of the same exact day over and over and over again with these characters that never age and don't really have dimension. I mean, I'm not trying to dig on Simpsons specifically, like SpongeBob or just these super light cartoon-esque
it doesn't matter
spaces. Yeah, where it kind of doesn't matter. That's not what Lower Decks is trying to do. And to end episode 10 in season 1 in a similar fashion to where I actually am on the timeline of things was really interesting. I'm like, man, they're already playing with that format really early on in the series. And I think it makes it more believable that we're in a real Star Trek world, even though it's still hard to believe that this is a real Star Trek world.
It's so hard, isn't it? And I think it gets easier to believe later on, as they kind of take themselves a little bit more seriously. I don't know that they ever imagined they would get 5 seasons. Like, this could have been I could imagine this being a one and done. I don't know how much was agreed up front, but it's so unpredictable. And this was the early days of like Star Trek, not the early days of Star Trek coming back, but it's early-ish, and it's the first branch out into animation. Like, we haven't done this since the 70s. Like, who knows how it was going to be received? It could have just been cancelled.
Yeah, to that point, this would have been a great ending.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but no. I don't want it to end.
Every single button up they did in this season could be fine for me. I could leave every character and be like, that was fun.
Yes. I agree. My hesitance is no, because I love it so much. I want more. But yes, you are right. Actually, that could be a great job, a great place to end. Yeah.
They didn't
if
need
it's just like
to have
an homage to the TNG era of Star Trek. It'd be a 1-season reference fest homage. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I think like giving Boimler his promotion with Riker would be a fantastic ending. A great place to leave Boimler.
Great end for his story. It's his dream. He gets to work with a TNGer.
Mariners was kind of one-upped by Boimler, but still had her epic lead in the final episode.
Yes.
Obviously, we know that doesn't happen. You've got Tendi and Rutherford just as adorable as ever, talking back and forth. And everyone is in a pretty great place. You had one death, but that was okay. I think it's amazing
you need that to end Star Trek.
Yes, you do. You had a ship explosion as well. And obviously we know that didn't happen, and we are going on and on, but I look at this season as a package and think that this is such a great example of what can be done in this format. So yeah.
I agree. I've said it before. It is the strongest first season of any Star Trek show. I think I could argue that against any of them. I think Strange New Worlds would be a close second, but I still feel like this is even stronger than Strange New Worlds' first season, because it is so comfortable with what it is. Which leads us to a nice little question. Now that we've kind of wrapped up the first season of Lower Decks, memory is a hard thing, but how would you compare it to the other seasons that you've watched? How does it feel overall now that you've finished your first season of Lower Decks? Because I know there were some rough spots kind of mid-season.
Yeah, and that's usually the case. Anytime I watch something, I kind of get a little bit of a dip. I really liked this season. There's a simplicity to it. As the show progresses, there's more complexity introduced to each character. There's backstories that we learn more about. There's mysteries that are solved. There's revisits of characters that come back. And then there's still themes that they continue to kind of hit on. And it's thankfully not a love interest. It's a mother-daughter back and forth.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would say that this is, I don't know. I think this is coming out in the lead for me, because the simplicity is just nicely done. It's a really nice series to watch. If you're just going to watch one season of this show and you just made it this, I think it would be a fine thing. I don't know that what it does with the characters or something that I necessarily need, because I'm not as invested in these characters as I am with the live action stuff. I want to be in Strange New Worlds every day, all day. That's where I want to be. That. I'm pissed that we don't have it already. Where the fuck is my show?
It's coming. Spring. It's coming. And
I need it to be. I need that all. I need a lot of it, and I need it to make sense. And I want money in that. I need those characters. That's where I want to be. And it scares me, because I know that's it's on a hard stop, because it's in the past, quote unquote, the past.
I mean, but that hard stop is 10 years. That's longer than any Star Trek show has ever had. No Star Trek show has gone beyond 7 years. So,
I'm nervous because they're messing with people's TOS love. But that's where my heart is. That's where my heart is, because I really, really like what they did. Yeah. Especially season 1. Season 2 is but season 1 was good. And so I want to go back. I'm nervous about it. I don't want to go back, but I'm not as invested in these characters, and I think it is because that they're animated. I think I'm like a little bit removed from
I get it.
The investment more than it's I watch Lower Decks to be entertained. I don't watch it to I don't know. I'm not learning something about Star Trek. Yeah. I'm kind of haha, we're having fun with Star Trek. Whereas I feel like in the other shows, there's just such a seriousness to it that really solidifies its reality in sci-fi world. I don't know.
Well, for me, it was the perfect time to have Lower Decks, because I was let Discovery do new Star Trek and be bold and this new adventure. And the people that don't want to do that, they can enjoy Lower Decks. Fine. If you want to live in the past and just have that bit of Star Trek history, this is the show for you. That's perfect. So it was really kind to the fandom as well. The people that weren't necessarily connecting with Discovery had this to connect to. It gets all of the pips for me. This episode gets 4. The season gets 4 as well overall as a season. It's my favorite of the 4 seasons we've had so far, mainly because, like you said, it's that simplicity. It doesn't have other than the Mariner Freeman thing, it doesn't really have an overarching conspiracy or a story or a mystery that's tying it together. And all of the other seasons do, and that's one of the weaker parts for me. But this, just as a explosion of Star Trek fandom, is incredible.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. This is another all pippage for me. And I feel like because of how this season ends, I would also give this season some massive pippage, all of the pippage.
Massive pippage. Well, love that. With that, now that we finished gushing over it, let's head over to engineering to just do a few sins. Red alarm. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin, even our beloved Star Trek. Ambassador. You first.
Well, Rutherford survives this. Next.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, it rips his eyeball out and the side of his head.
Was it his eyeball? I thought his eyeball was already out.
It's just his eyepiece. Yeah, he has an empty socket. Either way, he has something there that should not. That was there that is not. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
and Shanks
it seems important.
As far as I know, a doctor that is trained to do that, and it works. He just rips it off. It's amazing. What was my file? Where do I go?
Where do you go, my lonely? I wanna know. Where do you
it's
go?
So hard. None of my sins mean anything. Like I don't want to sin this episode, Danae. Really? I mean, okay, my big one is the Packlet ship. Its arm is grabbed onto the nacelle of the Saskatchewan, and it then goes to warp, and that kills everybody. I feel like it's a really easy thing to not have happen. Like this is one of the things where the ship should take over. Like, don't jump to warp if your boot is stuck in something and it's going to rip your skeleton out of your body. Like, it just
grim.
Like, that's basically what happens. Like, I left my foot behind. Sorry, it took my skeleton with it. Because Freeman has to manually say, no, drop the engine, stop it. That's what happened to them. If Freeman knows, the computer should know and be like, hey, we're not going to jump to warp because right now that's a bad idea. We shouldn't do it.
The computer should stop them.
Yeah, the computer should have stepped in and said, nope, no warp drive for you. It's a bad idea.
What's the name of the computer that's alive?
Zora. From Discovery.
From Discovery, that's right.
Yeah, Zora. She would have absolutely been like, FYI, this is going to rip your skeleton out of your body. Yeah. Don't do this, please.
Let's see. I have a question that could be a sin, but like, so Shax is dead, but then his earring is there. Does he just have a backup?
Yeah, I think he has more than one earring. That was my assumption. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they took it from his personal effects. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. I kind of assumed it was just one, like one really important one.
You would think so, but I can see it being multiple. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, really, the alternative is that his fucking ear survived and they found it and retrieved it. Ew, bit of foreshadowing from Crisis Point when only like his ear survives after getting shot by Mariner.
Yeah. Good point.
Bit of a kick in the teeth for Freeman's command crew. As soon as things go sideways, she's like, I need you, Mariner, and your batshit ideas take over, which is just a big old kick in the dick for Ransom, maybe deserved, but the rest of her senior staff as well. Like, immediately, not hand over to just one lower decker that you know very well, but by extension, hand it over to Tendi, Boimler, Rutherford, fuck the rest of your crew. Clearly the lower deckers know best. It's great for the show, doesn't make any sense. It's like Picard talking to the extras out of nowhere and saying, hey, you guys take over for this episode, and Riker and Worf just take a seat back. So yeah, bit weird.
Yeah. What was another one of my sins? I don't have very many because I was so entertained.
Yeah. I mean, Titan Ex Machina, obviously, just coming in at the perfect time.
Yeah,
to save the
absolutely.
day,
That's an easy one. Another easy one.
Because it's so fun.
Why don't they have phasers? Where are the phasers located that no one ever has phasers? Why do they have to? I mean, like, I love that they had to use her hidden contraband. But
yeah.
Why wouldn't they have phasers?
Well, they're on their way to the weapons locker. And
why don't they have phasers other places is my point.
Why aren't they on? That's what I'm about to say. Why aren't they on the bridge? Like, the Enterprise D has phasers on the bridge. Voyager has phasers on the bridge.
Oh my God, the slow beam in.
Oh, I forgot about that. I made a note. They're beaming in.
Slowly.
They're beaming in really slowly. It's so funny.
There's plenty of time to go to the little secret phaser panel and hit it with your fist, and then it pops open.
Away from the bridge?
Why? Like, okay, so we don't want to have I'm an American. We have guns on our hips. Why don't you have phasers, everywhere? Just
especially when you can just set them to stun. They don't have to be deadly.
That's exactly right. Good point. But you know what? If we didn't have that, we wouldn't have the double hand punch. So
yep, double fist punch, which is my next sin, is announcing your shots before they happen.
Yes.
Twing, sidestep, double fist punch.
But then you wouldn't remember that it was a funny Kirk reference.
Exactly. It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
I have another one, which is, this was a weird one. Like, Peanut Hamper, Tendi is worried for Peanut Hamper because she's being clumsy and fumbling everything. How does Peanut Hamper have the ability to replicate a tool to pick things up? Like, kids have those toys with like the little grabby arms.
She was doing that on purpose. Peanut Hamper was fucking up on purpose.
Why?
Because I thought that it was because she was going to steal the dilithium. Did I get that right? Dilithium?
I mean, yeah, you named it right. I don't know why she's stealing the dilithium.
She's like, ooh, it's more than I thought. And then she was like super interested in it. And because I know that Peanut Hamper is a shitty bitch, I was like,
she is.
And so she was like, oh, I'm having so much trouble. And so I think she was playing up that she doesn't care. She's not trying to excel. Okay. She's on her own mission to do whatever she's doing. So I just assumed that she was purposefully, but cutting into people is fun. So she did that.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I'm fine doing that. Okay. In that case, then Tendi should have said, wait, why isn't she replicating something to help her? It would have been super suspicious that the exocomp, that is a multi-utility creature, couldn't pick up things and didn't know to replicate something. Yeah. There we go. Found a way to sin it.
You know what? If you try hard enough, you can send just about anything. That's hard. That's the point. That is the point of what.
Brave enough.
That's right.
Wow, dogs are excited.
Please stand by for a dog bark break. I'll play some music for you. I need more exciting music than this. It's got to be like something really upbeat. That's good. That's good. Where's my derpy music? That's it. Are you done? I feel like that's a sound that summons me, and I don't know why. Okay, I think they're all right. They're done. One is back and over it, whatever it was.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, so see, David thinks that too. That
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, David.
Makes sense.
Okay. Back to it. Do you want to go into the chat and scan through?
Yeah, I've only got one more that really jumped out at me, and it was just the cliche of Ransom. Yeah, we'll go and talk to Ransom about this. He's not just a meathead. Immediately demonstrates that he is a meathead because he happens to be working out at that time. Character says a thing and then is contradicted by character in the most direct way possible. Yeah. So it's an amazing episode. I don't want to sin it anymore, Danae. I enjoyed it too much, I'll be honest.
You did tell me that it is number one.
Yeah, it is my favorite of the season. I don't know that it's the best of the season, but it's my favorite. Fucking Titan, man. Oh, the Titan. It's so great.
I'm just checking my notes to see if there's anything else. Oh, I've got so many notes. They're just like space battle, space battle, space battle.
Woo!
Was the shuttle that they took the one that they've been fixing, or was it a different shuttle?
I think it was the Saratoga, the one that they've been fixing. Yeah, they've been working on it all season. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think they're still working on it in season 4 as well. So I'm expecting that to have a big payoff in season 5.
It had a good payoff this one.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. What did I call it? I've got all of the S's wrong this episode. You're lucky I got Shax right. What else have we got in the chat?
Okay, I think that's it for me. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a stinking load of fun. I think that's a great way to send off season 1 of Lower Decks. Next week, everybody, in fact, the next 3 weeks, there is going to be a slight break. We contemplated it, we thought about it, but we didn't want to squeeze another season of Captain's Pod into just the 3 episodes that we have between now and season 5 of Lower Decks, which we definitely want to cover live. So instead, we're going to take 3 weeks to recharge and to reload our dilithium chambers and recharge the Buzard collectors. And we're not going to get a refit, though. We're still going to be the same ship that you saw last time. So here's some dates for your diaries if you want to join us for the live show. Lower Decks loves to do this. In fact, lots of TV shows love to do this. They are airing episodes 1 and 2 at the same time. So to keep up with them, we're going to be doing episodes 1 and 2 at the same time as well. So we will do a mass watching and sinning. We'll decide the exact format of that show closer to the time. Or maybe on the day, who knows. But the live show, if you want to join us for the live recording... I've lost all my dates. I had it written down as well. Perfect music. Yeah, I'm going to try that again. Oh, it's not my record scratch. So if you want to join us for the live show, which is covering episodes 1 and 2 of season 5 of Lower Decks, that'll be on Friday the 25th of October, and the podcast covering those 2 episodes will be with you on Wednesday the 3rd of November. So it's just 3 weeks where you have to survive without us. And you know what? You can go and listen to our coverage of Lower Decks season 4. That's your challenge. See if you can get through all 10 episodes of season 4 in 3 weeks. I believe in you all. You can do it. But if you would like to send your complaints anywhere, you can send them to captainspod at cinemasins.com or to our lovely Discord channel. We have a lovely Captain's Pod channel attached to the CinemaSins Discord, discord.gg/CinemaSins.
Yeah, because specifically, we want to know your thoughts on how to tell something about a person based on their favorite captain. Because this is apparently going to be happening with me a lot in my life where I need to prepare myself. Help me. Send your questions, send your feedback, send your favorite captain stories. That way I can prepare. Captain's Pod at cinemasins.com. Yeah.
Which captain do you think the ambassador is? Hang around for the outtakes to understand why the hell we're talking about that at all. And until next week, give me warp in the factor of 5, 6, 7, 8.
And it's beam out. Sucks to be organic.
I love that so much. Live long and Podspur. See you in November.
Record scratch.
Sorry, everybody. 3 weeks is too long. It really is. It just felt weird trying to squeeze in 3 rushed episodes. I'd rather run it,
especially a 2-parter.
Properly. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
So we came to the conclusion to take a little brief break.
Yeah, especially with the Dicers coming over to have some playtime in the United Kingdom. It'll be fun to give them a grand tour.
So now we are on to just a sad, temporary farewell.
Oh, do you have sad music for that?
Nope, just a normal one. Come to Scotland. I freaking wish. I freaking wish. Let's go through some of these comments.
Yeah.
Let's see. The references are in what's happening in the episode, mirroring what happened in the movies, is an homage or poking fun of rather than specific text reference. I don't know what this was in. Do you remember what this was in reference to?
I do not.
Okay, well, it was a good point though.
Oh, I think that's a start comment left over from last week, which is
no
weird.
way.
Yeah, now that we're using, there are some like behind the scenes things that have changed with StreamYard, and
what
if I star something from a previous show, it keeps it forever.
So we have to clear them every time.
Yeah, every time we have to clear them.
Wow.
Yeah, this is talking about Crisis Point.
So this one was from last week.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But it applies every week.
Well, I will tell you that the cat decided to come into my room and sleep on my bed with the dogs. And they have been getting closer and closer. And I will also tell you that I'm watching a stupid movie for my job right now. And
you are so mad about this.
There's a dog in this that is a creature from some sort of like animated show. It's like a Jim Henson vibe. Very strange.
Very Reese's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it reminded me that there's so many dogs that need to be adopted in the world. And so I spent 20 minutes going to my local shelter's websites today looking at dogs. And
you were
also
just saying yesterday how you're done with dogs and you don't want animals in your house.
Thank you for reminding me. And then also my friend is at a conference right now and somebody dumped a box of kittens out into the wilderness at the bluffs. And they don't have a home.
Is she bringing them home?
More on that next time.
Oh no,
we'll see you in a few weeks.
No more kittens.
I don't think it's a good idea because I am allergic to most cats. It's just this magical thing that the cat that's adopted me doesn't make me sneeze. So it's a really risky thing to be like, yes, I'll adopt a kitten, but
you don't need more animals in your house.
I really don't. I have so much to do.
It's going to get so expensive as well.
I know. Question for Danae. Having now seen this episode and the same 3 of Picard, which version of the Titan do you like better?
I can answer this. She doesn't remember
this one because I don't remember.
Yeah, there we go.
I really don't. But I was really interested in how it just had this sort of like lounge.
Yes.
It felt like a high-end lounge. Like it's almost like every console where someone was sat at should have been a glass table with an ashtray and a big stogie.
Yeah, it would. Riker would love that.
Martinis and low lighting. Probably, I don't know. It just had that vibe. So I'm going to go with this one because I hope I remember it. There's no guarantee that I will.
Well, and it was one of the biggest like kind of confusions in Picard season 3 because it wasn't a different Titan. Like it is that is the same Titan that's in Picard season 3. Shaw takes over from Riker. It gets a massive refit and looks entirely different. Like it has been refitted like no man has been refitted before. The
lounge isn't for everyone.
No, it's not. And the bridge looks different. It was weird to use the Titan in Picard, honestly.
Listen,
and then rename it the Enterprise.
I can never get fish again. You're right.
No, you really can't.
I'm not going to get mice, Sarah. I'm not doing it.
Would you do it?
Probably accurate. Shaw was bitching about how long it took to purge the jazz from the computer.
He wasn't he?
Oh, I forgot about that. That is so funny. Oh my God. No, not birds live for so long. Birds are something that you have to leave to your great grandchildren. Like they live forever and they're mad about it. And they have very long pointy beaks. Like birds are scary.
Birds are angry.
They're dinosaurs.
They are. Birds know they can fly and they're superior to us.
But they can kill me. They will plot.
They don't feel guilty about killing you.
No. Davidson was the Cerritos is able to open a two-way comm channel to Boimler's comm badge without him tapping it to answer because plot. Yep. Convenient overheard conversation is convenient. A perfectly written sin, David.
All of it. Yeah.
Well done.
So true.
This is about the crayons from Sci-Fi Brony and Sarah. A lot of people were talking about it. Starfleet issued crayons are a thing. They had the Delta on the box and everything. It's so dumb. I actually loved it. That was a sin/sin removal, but in several of the scenes, the Deltas were backwards.
I want them. I want them anyway. I want them all, please. It'd be great. Yeah. Starfleet crayons.
Yeah, this was interesting, David. I liked this part of the episode. Intuiting that the Solvang was destroyed when it tried to warp while the Pakled grapple was attached. Captain Freeman does some excellent captaining in this episode. I thought so too.
I don't know what ship you're talking about, though. I thought it was the Sasquatch that was destroyed.
Also, among Mariner's contraband are the spike gauntlet things from TNG's Code of Honor. And then the sin is, of course, TNG Code of Honor.
We won't be covering Code of Honor.
But payoff to hiding contraband.
Yeah.
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 Sin removal for the Solvang exploding. Damn, this is the first time in Lower Decks that there were serious stakes involved in the story, and I was pumped for real.
It was really sad. Like when it blew up and you get the lightning bug smear.
Intense.
It's sad. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't too morbid, but that was it
was
just
a
made me
lot.
think of that.
It was a lot.
Sorry about that. I agree. Rutherford and Tendi together again is so cute. I love it.
It's adorable. Such a great attitude.
Nick had this comment, I think, when we were talking about kind of shifting gears. I think maybe even with Shaw coming back. That's what I love about the show and why it's not Shaw, Shanks came back. It's so well done because thank you, because they learn from their mistakes and grow. It's what if TNG, but things from past episodes affect the characters in future episodes when it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
Sin removal for Peanut Hamper's introduction mirroring Tendi's from the beginning of the season.
Oh, it's so
great. With her arrival as I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good point.
Yeah. And Peanut Hamper, of course. You squealed when she turned up.
I did. Her episode's so fun.
It's so good. The birds.
It's so funny.
It's so great.
It's such a great one-off episode, like a bottle episode or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't really need to see this one to understand it either. You just need to know that she's in space.
Here's a good sin. What are the odds that the shuttle would crash in a room where the virus can be uploaded? Great point, Sci-Fi Brony.
I'm going to assume Shax did some scanning.
Quick scanning.
Or it could be uploaded to any terminal.
Sin, this shuttlecraft Sequoia can fly, then why are the lower deckers always working on it? There has got to be a better way to spend your buffer time.
It's true. Yeah. Well, sometimes those products can be fun.
Sin for Landrew. Maybe just unplug Landrew. Take it apart. There's a 0% chance that the Beta 3 people aren't worshipping that thing again in a week. Art supply is notwithstanding.
It's true. Yeah, I think that may violate the Prime Directive. And I think that's the bit that Freeman is getting at. Like, why can't we just fix this problem for good? Why is this little bit of helping not violating the Prime Directive, but solving the problem would be?
Here's a question for us. Do we have a favorite episode from season 1? Link wants to know.
Yeah, I answered this one. It's this episode is my favorite without a doubt. Let me go through the titles and see if you can remember which one's your favorite.
Oh shit! Oh god! I'll change the music because we know it's going to be.
Okay, hang on. So we've got episode 1. We have Second Contact, which is Tendi arriving.
No, I'm supposed to remember. I'm supposed to remember.
Sorry. Yeah. Second Contact.
No, I know there's a spider. Nope, don't remember it. Give me a couple of words. Maybe it'll come back.
Nomming.
Is that the one where Boimler is sucked on?
Yeah, he's nommed on by the spider.
Did we not watch that one?
We didn't watch that this time round. Yeah.
Because it's
we've
been
already
so
done
long.
an episode on it.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Episode 2, Envoys.
Nope.
This is Rutherford going through different departments on the Enterprise, on the Cerritos. Yeah.
Thank you for the hint. This is the one that Rutherford goes through the departments.
I don't remember what Mariner and Boimler are doing in this episode.
I don't either.
Temporal Edict.
No.
TikTok, TikTok, TikTok.
There's a bomb.
No one's dying. We live on a spaceship. No one's dying from a stab wound. No one's dying from a spear. Buffer time. And they go down to the planet, and then they change the schedule, and the bad guys beam over onto the ship with the crystals, and Mariner is in the cave with Ransom, and Ransom gets shirtless and then stabs her in the foot. And says,
I remember that.
Trial by combat.
That's right.
That's that one.
Of course.
Moist Vessel.
Not about sex.
Nope, it wasn't. This is about the Generation ship that's like a plant thing. Mariner embarrasses her mother in front of another captain, and Tendi messes up the Ascension, and you get the...
the guy died.
Taking so long?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that part.
Cupid's Errant Arrow. Girlfriend.
No.
Suspicious. Mariner's suspicious of Boimler's new girlfriend. There's a conspiracy, and then they end up bonding.
Yeah. And he was a worm all along.
Yes, there's a parasite in his brain. Yeah. Terminal Provocations is the Badgie episode that we didn't do because we've already done it.
Okay.
Much Ado About Boimler. This was only 3 weeks ago today.
No.
Mariner's best friend comes to visit, and she's a captain, and she deliberately fucks up on all of the missions. So
yeah.
Promoted.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, of course. Totally remember that one. Also.
And they're planting, Freeman and Shax and Ransom are planting the magical plant at any moment.
It could happen.
Mission. Yeah. Veritas.
Nope.
Birthday party.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a trial, quote unquote.
Yeah, the trial. Crisis Point.
No.
Last week's episode.
Oh, okay.
The movies.
Oh, the movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
There was a dog somewhere as well. Much Ado About the dog that turns into a cube was in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Much Ado About Boimler, I think. Yeah, so I'm glad we've retained so much. Guys, we watch a lot of content. We'll listen to our own episodes. This is the best episode.
Again. That's all that matters. This is the best one.
This is the one you'll remember.
100%.
Cannot wait to do this next year and ask you what your favorite episode was.
Ask me in a couple of days, and I will probably tell you that I've never watched Lower Decks.
No, never heard of it. Nick, is that reverse order or proper order? I'm guessing in order of favorite first.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wish I had a better memory. I really do.
It happens. It happens. Ugh.
What's your favorite episode of any Star Trek?
Ooh, God, today.
Oh my god.
Which episode of Strange New Worlds is your favorite?
I don't remember a lot, honestly. Like, the first thing I thought of was the body swap episode.
That's really fun. That's from season 2, I think.
And then I also thought of the cave episode because it was like such a great
with the comet
introduction
and the music
of everything. Like,
yeah, that was episode 2.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Elysium Kingdom or something.
Yes. Lord of the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
It's so unique in how it like I just I don't think that's a good one-off one, but that was a fun episode that was a bit unexpected. Man, there's so many memories that I'm having, which is great because I have none of that happening with Lower Decks, and I just watched it. So.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh man, the episode 10 of season 1, the one where they go the alternate timeline and Pike sees the alternate future with the Romulans and they relive an episode of TOS. I get chills thinking about how well executed that episode was.
I think Wandering, he asked about Strange New Worlds specifically, so it put my brain into one place.
Oh, no, Wandering said it was like what was all of Star Trek, and I said it's probably going to be Strange New Worlds. So let's just narrow it down to that.
Oh, okay. Any Star Trek, she's Lapete. Yeah. There was some from Picard I really loved. Yeah. I think I probably would end up landing on some Picard season 3 because it brought back my TNG people and kind of gave me a reference of like what they're up to and kind of how things are going. And I loved seeing old Worf. So
just chops the head off of Ferengi. It's amazing.
There's something about like also seeing them in like the more modern storytelling elements. Like, I love old TNG. The pacing is different. Different era for TV, different era for storytelling, and different era for people's attention spans. But there was some stuff for Picard that I think I needed it in a way, and I got very emotional watching it. And so I would probably be landing in Picard season 3 episode with Ro as an all-timer for me now.
That's a really good one. Really her story.
Yeah, there's some really nice ones there. So great questions and great comments. Thank you all for being here for the live show and for what we do. Predictions for season 5. I think we're going to come to an end. I think we're going to come to an end for Lower Decks. I think this is going to be it. So
we know it's the final season.
All the people. Oh, we do?
Yeah, it's definitely the final season. Yeah, 100%.
So in that case, I think we're going to see people planted in their spots. And maybe like each episode, we're going to have some like confirmations of where people are going and what they're doing. So Mariner's going to die. Boimler is going to become a hot dad bod dad with an alien on a planet somewhere. And Tendi is going to be a captain. And Rutherford is going to be chief engineer on her ship.
Love that.
Who am I missing? Peanut Hamper will be imprisoned.
Along
with Badgie.
Already is.
But they'll have like a little kind of like, I don't know, like a jail scene where it kind of cuts over and they'll be living their happy jail life. Freeman is going to retire. Shax and Pussycat Doc are going to have a child using Tendi's DNA resequencing from the dog. The dog will come back.
Nice. Yeah.
The dog is going to come back and be on Tendi's ship as her security officer.
Love that. That's perfect.
Who else am I missing? Handsome is going to, I think he's going to end up on a retirement community with a whole bunch of elder ladies just being their eye candy and keeping them entertained in a retirement community somewhere. And I think the show is going to, it's going to like land everybody where they want it to be. That's probably the easy assumption, but like how they're going to do it, that's the tricky part. The last I think we're going to see a lot of people coming back in. Like the Titans probably going to come back and take Boimler, like they're going to take some people off.
I have some bold predictions that I'll put at the beginning of, I'll restate these at the start of like when we do one as well. Yeah, email in your predictions too. I think it's going to be an homage to a lot of the finales that we had during the 90s and the noughts. And I think the episode title of episode 10, the last episode of the season, will be Come to an End. It'll be ... come to an end
Mm.
because the last episode of TNG was all good things, ...
Oh,
So I think this will be ... come to an
Yeah.
end because they can't resist having a clever title. And to that point, I think some part of it will be a holodeck program. Some part of it will take place across 3 time zones. One part will involve. This is a legit prediction. I think they will travel through time and they will see what happens to Voyager when Voyager comes home, because the biggest sin among fans for Voyager is that we don't get to see. Literally, Voyager gets home, spoiler, fireworks, cut to credits. That's it. 7 years, and you don't get to see the enjoyment. So I think they're going to try and fix some problems from the finales of the other Star Trek shows. And I think they may go back.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah, I think they may go back to Enterprise and redo that finale as well. Yeah, that's my prediction.
Oh, man, that's fun. I like how you're thinking about that, too, because the format is so versatile.
Yeah, that's exactly what Lower Decks would do as well.
Yeah.
Like, Lower Decks would, like, in its own finale, how much more meta could you be than to revisit the finales of all of the other shows that you're referencing?
Ooh, I love it.
If they do that, I would love it. Also, I know you've already written it, but hire me and I'll help out.
Well, if they do another animated series with the Titan, let's go. Let's go.
Oh, love
all right, we are off too, Sarah. Have a good evening, you guys. Have a great weekend, and please have a great few weeks. We will miss you while we are taking another short break. But if we do decide to have any pop-up chats or hangouts, we'll post them in Discord first. So make sure that you're following on Twitch with the reminder bell if you can get notifications, and also on my own personal one for Danae Says for notifications. So that way, if it's missed on Discord, you can get a notification on your device. Also for CSPN, you can hit the bell and go into your settings and you can specifically allow for notifications. Let us know if that's happening for you, because we think that should work. But if it doesn't, let us know. But we appreciate you all so much, and we'll see you in a few weeks for the beginning of the new season of Lower Decks.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 24th. No spoilers.
Live long and prosper. Yeah, no spoilers.